number 6. Remember the 6th verse, which says, Namo Deva Dāmodarāṣṭaka Vishnu. It's not my glasses that are fogged up, it's my eyes that are fogged up. Namo Deva Dāmodarāṣṭaka Vishnu Prasida Prabho Dukkha Jalabdi Magnam Kripadrishti Vrityati Dinam Bhatanu Grihani Shamam Agyamid Akshidrishyam. O Lord of divine beauty and boundless mercy, I bow down to you, whose affection for devotees allows them to bind you, who are supremely independent. O Damodar, I am tormented by material entanglement and by separation from you. Please deliver me from this ocean of misery with the vision of your blissful form and with the shower of your merciful glance. I'm sure that devotees appreciate the beautiful poetry of this Dāmodarāṣṭaka verse, even if we don't know Sanskrit, but nonetheless, the rhyme, the poetry is very much there. And although it's a different form of poetry than what perhaps we're used to, no, I mean real poetry, poetry that rhymes. Nowadays, there's a tendency to write prose and just call it poetry, but it's neither has proper meter, neither has proper rhymes. Just a disaster. It's just like so-called art. Squares, cubes, colors, and that makes art. Usually it's called scribbling, but if you charge enough for it, then it becomes art. So Prabhupada would often relish verses when he would cite them, and because ultimately Sanskrit is the perfect language. What does it mean that something is a perfect language? It means that a language, words, can actually do justice to the things, sentiments that they're meant to be expressing. And they're capable of invoking comparable emotions, thoughts, but obviously it's a language that really fully works when you understand it, although it works even if it doesn't understand, but not in the same way. So many times Prabhupada here in India, when he was giving a talk, most times he would excuse himself from his audience and say that you have to excuse me, my students don't understand Hindi or Bengali, so I'm going to speak English. And then Prabhupada would speak English, and he would then explain to the devotees that 10,000 people are sitting there, and sometimes many of them didn't speak English, especially at that time, go back 50 years. And But Prabhupada would say that it's all right, it still has effect. So because it's glorification of Krishna, Tavakatamrita, so certainly it has effect, it's purificatory. But in terms of comprehension, that's not there. So something may be purifying, but at the same time, you may not necessarily understand it. So we're reading the Sanskrit is purifying, but we don't necessarily understand. That's why obviously the word for word translation is there, and if you've been doing this long enough, for many years, and when you're reading a book, if you don't skip over the Sanskrit, who skips over the Sanskrit? Well, not everybody's putting up their hand, but the tendency is that you just jump over. But the thing is, if we keep repeating, ultimately basic understanding of certain words is there, and it makes comprehension easier, and it makes memorization easier. And when we don't know a language, to memorize a verse is extremely difficult. Memorizing something you don't. Those who know Hindi or Bengali, then they have certain advantage because it's similar, not identical, but it's similar. Those who speak Sanskrit or know Sanskrit, then it's a matter of memorizing words that you know what they mean, rather than memorizing something. And of course we have the translation, but still, how do the words correspond? So that's also one of the benefits of making the effort to memorize, is if you really want it to have meaning, you need to know the word for word. Now there is a reason why Srila Prabhupada gave the word for word translation. It's not that he just wanted to impress scholars. He wanted devotees to actually be able to learn those, although Prabhupada didn't emphasize for us to become Sanskrit scholars or even necessarily learn Sanskrit. Even here, when some of our local devotees, of course, Jaipatak Maharaj learned Bengali, but for instance, Bhavanandi Maharaj would go. Prabhupada said, you don't need to speak Bengali. You go, speak English, they will respect you anyway. It doesn't make a difference. But still, it's very beautiful. And very, very poetic. Yes, Prabhupada would often give the example, Samasita ye padapalavam mahat padam punya jisho murari pavambudir vatsa param padam 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 yad vipadam natesham. Prabhupada would like to quote that, and then, padam padam yad vipadam natesham. So really very beautiful, and it's not repeating the same words every time. Padam, 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 padam. Everything has a different meaning. So, Namaha, Namo Deva. Throughout this poem, you could call it a poem, a song, Ashtaka. Ashtaka just means 8 verses. This Namaha is repeated. How many times? Verse 1. Then it's in the verses, but that I don't see so well. Verse 1, and then I didn't. And then we have verse 6 and verse 8. So the verses beginning with Namaha, offering obeisances, Deva. Deva Devi Jagatpate. So Krishna is named differently because ultimately he's everything. He's Deva, which means Lord, or he's Devi Deva, or he's the Lord of all lords. He's Śivara, but he's Śivara Parama, or he's Parameshvara. So depending on how, because ultimately Krishna is all of these things. If you're the king, then you also take the role of prime minister or minister. Then you also have the power of the police chief. Then you also have the power of the street sweeper if you want to be. So you're everything. So similarly, if you're Parameshvara, then you're also everything. Namo Deva. Dāmodarāṣṭaka. So you can see how it is mixed. This mixing, this prayer towards little baby Krishna, or he's just on the cusp really of childhood and boyhood, but he's Deva, he's also the Supreme Lord, he's Ananta. These are all names of Krishna. Vishnu. Vishnu should be conceived of as relating to Vishnu. It's just like Shukadeva Goswami says, Vikriditam Rajabadhu Viridam cha Vishnu. So Vishnu also means like Deva, the supreme. We're not talking about the Vishnu of this material world, the maintainer, and so on. But he's also that. So all of these real, what are they called? They're, when you're appealing to somebody who's great, all of these respectful, huh? Accolades? That's one. Good, yeah. All of these accolades that you're addressing, Namaha, Deva, Ananta, Vishnu, and then in between there, Damodar. But then Damodar is also, there is the Damodar Vishnu, who's also one of the 24 forms of Lord Vishnu that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentions. But here Damodar obviously is referring to he whose belly has been tied. So just prior to this, verse 5. Okay, where's the homework? You gave me yours. This is another version?
No,
Radharani's. I read Dipti Mati's. It was very, very nice. You got really good handwriting in your family. Well, it doesn't go to all the families. No, this is also nice. Just looks different without the glasses. Anybody else?
I started, I didn't finish. Tomorrow I can do.
No one did it? That's us cheating.
I just did it half an hour.
Another good handwriting. Okay, that's impressive. And is it a good experience?
Yes. First I thought I cannot write anything, but then I went.
When you're hearing so much, then you just have to start, and it comes. Krishna's lotus feet are beautifully soft. They are strong enough to support the source of everything, and yet Mother Yashoda is always in anxiety. Krishna may step on a thorn while out herding the cows. Their souls are pinkish and decorated with significant and unique marks such as the thunderbolt and umbrella. One of his feet is placed with the sole obscured, but the other is visible due to the posture that Krishna has adopted, with his body angled in a very attractive way at his knee, hip, and neck. Beautiful. 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 All, I'll read them, but mostly it was for what's this? Who's this? This is 2 pages. There are 64 qualities that Krishna fully possesses. Krishna is the ocean of all qualities. There are 4 distinctive qualities in him. He's personified beauty, plays on his flute, friend of all living beings, the pick. Okay. No, wait a minute. You just copying out the 64 qualities over here. But this is meant to be just about his beauty. Nice exercise. Krishna, in his eternal blissful form as Vrindavan's beloved cowherd boy, Govinda, emanates the purest light, greater than that of the sun and the stars. His lotus feet, patterned with various symbols, gives great pleasure. Spelling. To the awaiting grass. As Krishna walks, a light soothing tinkle can be heard. His ankle bells glisten in the moonlight and fill the gopis with joy as they can be heard in the distance. The bottom of his feet is as red as a rose and can be seen on the rims of his ankles. Krishna's garland filled with flowers and colors unknown to the material world sway to and fro, brushing against his knees. Very nice, beautiful. So yeah, these are all, the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna is beauty itself. Thus the term beautiful is insufficient in describing Krishna. His beauty has not been acquired from any outside source. Rather, he is the source of beauty in anything that is beautiful, whether that be a small flower of this world or one of the innumerable incarnations or expansions of Sri Krishna, whom all independently are indescribably beautiful. Very nice. And nice handwriting. Makes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu like to see Rupa Goswami's handwriting. Yes. Where are we? Okay. So, and then Prasida, please be pleased with me, Prabhu, again. So one after the other, after the other, after the other, invoking this majestic vision that he is the Lord. Mother Yashoda, when she's looking into Krishna's mouth, and now here's the universe, and in the universe there's our solar system, in the solar system there's the planet, and the planet there's Vrindavan, and Vrindavan, she's there, and there's Krishna who's opening his mouth, and then she becomes overwhelmed at what is this, who is he? Obviously Krishna's not, it's a nice pastime to reveal, but Krishna's not pleased with this type of interaction. It's something similar to when Devaki and Vasudev, when Krishna finally killed Kamsa, so that morning he killed Kuvalyapida, and then they came into the arena dragging the tusks of the elephant. Krishna and Balaram, they killed all the wrestlers, they killed Kamsa, then they killed Kamsa's 6, 9 sons, and then the other soldiers. They were just like, oh, who are these young boys? So when they saw him, they were speechless. And Krishna wasn't happy with that. He says, now, okay, after all of this, we've gone to all this trouble, we left Vrindavan, we've come here to Mathura into a whole different atmosphere, and now this is what we're going to have, this type of relationship, this rasa, where seeing us as the Supreme Lord. So then Krishna expanded his Yogamaya and started to cry. And when he started to cry, as you know, someone who hasn't seen their parents in such a long time, then they forgot everything. They forgot all about this Lord business, and they just embraced Krishna and Balaram. So here the poet seems to be coming in and out of this type of mood. Sometimes there's so much emphasis on divinity, and sometimes you're just absorbed in the beauty of the Lord. Dukkha jala, now jala, my misery and illusion. I'm immersed, abdi maltham. So generally that's the mood of devotees. Sometimes it's just a mood, sometimes it's the reality. In other words, that yes, we're still in illusion, we're still under the modes of material nature, therefore, and of course we're suffering in this world. The inconvenience of the world is always there. How much we identify with it is something else. And we're praying for the Kripa Drishti. Beautiful phrase, Kripa Drishti, the merciful glance of the Lord. Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma, the whole idea of that's being emphasized over here is, regardless of how accomplished someone may be in devotional activity, without the mercy of the Lord, and here it is merciful glance, and vritsya means the shower, not satisfied, although actually as this suryamsa, which is just well, Prabhupada used this word pencil, but a ray of Vishuddha Sattva, Sattvam Vishuddham, Vasudeva Shabditam, this Vishuddha Sattva, unless we get, which is Kripa, which is mercy, unless we get this merciful glance from Krishna, then it's actually really impossible to transcend, ultimately to transcend the modes of material nature. We cannot do it by our own effort. So the example is that, for instance, even the very powerful yogis and gyanis, but avishuddhamaninas. So they think that they've actually attained liberation, and they may not be disturbed, but still, aruya pichena, then they again will fall down, or at least come down sooner or later, because they rejected. Yene ravindaksha vimukta maninas, vimukta maninas. So someone who's actually not received or not taken shelter of the mercy of the Lord. Kripa Drishti, now it sounds like he's wanting the merciful glance directly from Lord Damodar. It's rare. Generally speaking, when we're talking about the mercy of Krishna, Krishna's mercy, then what are we talking about? Samsara Davanala Lida Loka. So, Bandi Guru Sri Charanarvindam. So, mercy comes through Vaishnavas, comes through spiritual masters in the plural, comes through Vaishnavas, comes through the holy name, comes through wherever it wants to come through, because it's not bound or restricted in any way. But when one is worthy, sooner or later it will come. So this whole idea of receiving Krishna's mercy, you have to be attached to Krishna, you have to have affection for Krishna, but even if you have it, it doesn't come automatically. You cannot legislate. I've been doing this for so long. One has to be patient. Ati dinam, I'm very fallen. So there are those who are under the modes of nature, and there are those who are transcendental to the modes of nature, but they're also thinking that they're in this condition. Anugrihana. So there is kripa, there is anugraha, and there's another word for mercy, which is Doya. But there's more.
Karuna.
Prasadam, Karuna. Anyway, it represents a level. Anugrahaya bhaktanam manusyam nihamasita. So, anugraha, kripa, some are more heartfelt by the bestower and more overwhelming than others. There is an order of three different types of mercy. Isha, master of everything. So here, really, all that we're hearing is this appeal. You are the supreme, because Damodar may say, well, I'm just a little cowherd boy. And so why appeal to me? What does he want? He wants Kripa Drishti. What does Kripa Drishti mean? Akshi Drishya. I want to be able to see you with my eyes. So this is a very detailed topic that Sanatana Goswami describes in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, how devotees actually can see Krishna with their eyes. Do we want to see Krishna? Yes, of course, devotees want to see Krishna. On the other hand, devotees don't practice Krishna consciousness because they want to see Krishna. That is not their motivation. I'm chanting Hare Krishna to see Krishna. I'm chanting Hare Krishna to praise Krishna, to glorify Krishna. And I want to see Krishna. So yes, one should desire to see Krishna. Akshidrisha, I want to be able to see you with my eyes. But I'm just a cowherd boy. No, you're not just a cowherd boy. You're Deva, you're Ananta, you're Vishnu, you're Prabhu, you are all of these things. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, obviously making this very clear statement. Therefore, you can bestow mercy. What is that mercy? let me see you with my eyes. When devotee is able to see Krishna, that is the stage at which Krishna consciousness is complete. Up until then, it's not. So even if you have prema, and even if you've developed, even if your relationship is almost fully mature, but how can you have a mature relationship with someone you don't see? So it actually manifests the fullness and the perfection of rasa comes when one actually is able to see Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says when one achieves the shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. And then because when one sees Krishna, then one becomes eligible to enter into Leela. Krishna is not invisible in Leela, so Krishna is visible. So one enters into Krishna's Leela or pastimes. So we have this dynamic here in that it's very clear to the author what is it that he really wants. And this is prayer. Prabhupada writes about prayer around the Akrura's whole journey into Vrindavan and the wonderful prayers that he sang. And of course, Rupa Goswami makes Akrura as the embodiment or someone who's achieved perfection by offering prayers. That this is one of the reasons why we sing these and memorize prayers, learn prayers of the acharyas, so that we identify with them and we offer them to Krishna. Then there are our own prayers. Who prays daily? Any devotees pray daily? I guess, yeah, most everybody. No, don't put your finger in your mouth. Yes, devotees pray to Krishna. We compose our own prayers. Prayers can be just very simple and spontaneous and heartfelt. On the other hand, like these compositions, very beautiful, and these are also can be put into the form of prayer. And then Prabhupada talks about Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, about different types of prayers, prarthana, and so on, other stages of prayer, the prayers of conditioned souls, the prayers of liberated souls, prayers of those in spontaneous devotion service. And so yes, one should pray. Those prayers are very, very important. Multiple times in the 64 items of devotional service, offering prayers, glorifying the Lord, revealing one's heart, mind. So these are really all fall into the same category. So here he's saying, I'm so fallen. He says, okay, you're so fallen, but then, continue practicing devotional service. He says, no, but anugraha. So, but you're very, very merciful. So if you give me your mercy, then all this fallen condition can immediately be eradicated. So there's, there's two ways of cleaning a room. One is you start, with a sponge and you clean it like that. And the other was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's method in Gambhira, is that you just unlimited water and you flood the whole room, and that washes everything out. So, Vikritam Varjavat Hubiridam Savishnu Shadam Vitam Shinriyada Tuvarniyada Bhakti Param Bhagati Pratilabdya Kama Ridroga Pratiyabda Ridroga Kama Ashu. So, if one has faith and one hears, then Ashu Ashu Vairagam. Ashu means very quickly. Then very quickly, even though Hridroga Kama, even though this dirty things are within the heart, they get flushed out. So ultimately, it's love of Krishna, prema, that really cleanses the heart fully. Nothing else can cleanse the heart like that. There will always be. And that was the example. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed the devotees, okay, you all do your best. They did their best, and then he came and he started cleaning, and he said, look how much other things I've done. That means that without getting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, without Krishna's mercy, without that mercy, then everything will not get cleaned out of the heart. So Hridroga Kama, even there is this, Kama is there, but still prema will come. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gets very militant about this thing. He says there's some people who say that the heart has to be completely cleaned before prema comes. He says this is a wrong misconception. He says that when prema can arise at any time, and it will cleanse the heart. That's why this verse says, Hridroga Kama, but you have to hear. You have to hear the topics of Krishna's pastimes. You have to chant properly, and then love will come and it will clear everything up. And when prema's there, then one becomes qualified to see Akshidrisha, to see Krishna with our eyes. Okay, our time is up. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur assures the devotees, he says, at the end of life, he says, you will see Radhe Shyam and all their associates in Vrindavan. You will have darshan of Radhe Shyam. One of the songs in one of the song books. Well, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 devotees who did that, and I'm going to put these out on the table, and over the next few days, if you want to read what devotees have written, and if you haven't written, you still have an opportunity. 2 pages about Krishna's beauty. You'll be surprised what you can do once you start. And in this endeavor, there's no loss or diminution when
you mentioned without any support.
Without any support.
That we have to write without looking into any books, just this from our
what's in your heart?
Yeah.
What have you heard? Especially copying out notebooks. And it pleases Krishna. So, Riddhastostoya Bhadrani Vidhunoti Sritsatam. Krishna is very pleased. From within, he helps. Okay, my apologies. We went a little over time. Jai Shri Śivarāma Dāmodarāṣṭaka ki Jai, Shri Panchatattva ki Jai, Shri Radha Madhav ki Jai, Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol.